Referee introducing le président. No, not Laurent Blanc, but the one that's calling the shots now in France, to his officiating crew here today. This Stade de France, just outside of Paris and Saint-Denis, built for the 1998 World Cup, holds 75,000 fans, the sixth largest ground in Europe, and unfortunately, again, practically empty. Niko Kovac, the Monaco boss, and having a bit of a say about his players as the president walks his way through. And what a performance from Ben Yedder. This campaign has seen him return to form. Not that there was that much doubt. Did have 18 goals the last two seasons combined. Make that 18 at Sevilla, 18 at Monaco. But 20 goals this season in Liga. He's only scored a couple of goals in the Cup, but one of them was against Reviví, helping to spark a comeback against the underdogs. And another one, even more important, helping Monaco knock off Lyon a month earlier. Radosław Majewski, the big Polish goalkeeper.
Nice meeting you.
And then even in English making his way through.
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Thank you very much for being here. Congratulations.
Thank you. Alexander
Golovin, who has been phenomenal in recent weeks. 5 goals so far in the league season. And another player who capped off the scoring in the semifinals. Chouameni, Fofana, Sidibe.
Je sais que vous avez votre public qui vous regarde aussi par la télévision, malheureusement. Vous fait jouer.
Monaco, the hosts here today. Mentioned the fact that they do have a few Coupe de France titles to their name, although most of them coming back before these players were born. 1960, the first. Monaco knocking off Saint-Etienne. Won their second 3 years later. Actually needed an extra game to finish Olympique Lyon. Mentioned the underdogs. Orléans made it all the way to the final in 1980, but Monaco victorious. Then in 1991, their most recent crown, as Monaco able to knock off Marseille. And prior to that, in 1985, it was a showdown between these same two teams. Monaco getting the lone goal from Bernard Gengini just 14 minutes in, and that was enough at the Parc des Princes as Monaco knocked off PSG. And here's the way the lineups will come out, and here's the way Monaco will line up. You see that 3 in the back, Aguilar along with Caio on the flanks, Maripan anchoring, and then up front, Golovin, Poland flanking Ben Yedder. Francois Letessier, the man with the whistle here today. A 32-year-old referee, one of the youngest, but getting quite the honor. Here's the way PSG will line up under the Argentine Mauricio Pochettino. A few changes forced by injury and suspension. Sees Thilo Kehrer on the back line. Diallo slotting in on the left side. Danilo and Idrissa Gueye. and Paredes in a very defensive midfield. But then again, with Di Maria, Mbappe, and Icardi, what more offense do you need? Both teams wearing their home pitch colors here today. A little bit of royal purple in that dark blue of PSG, and the familiar red and white sash for Monaco. That's the way it should be. Not a bad way to bring the ball out for the opening kick. And it's electronic also, so it's got that going for it. Well, that might take social distancing a little far. And the ball is rolling at the Stade de France. Monaco in the white and red. Meanwhile, it is PSG in that familiar blue with the red stripe. But some unfamiliar faces out there. Danilo slotting in. He's actually stepped into the starting lineup of late. Angel Di Maria with Mbappe in front of him decides to weave his way through. Tries to whip it into the 18 from Mauro Icardi, who slams into the defense. And the foul against the Argentine striker. Alexander Golovin landing hard. You see a hit behind the play as well. PSG, of course, late to the game. Relatively new club, 1970, but once they got their feet under them, they won 2 in a row, 82 and 83, then 93, 95 and 98, 04, 06 and 10. And then since the relaunch, if you will, they have been nearly unbeatable, winning 4 in a row, 2015, 16, 17 and 18, before stumbling in the final, but bouncing back last year, looking for their 14th crown against 5-time champion Monaco. Ball sails over to that far flank. Caio Henrique, the Brazilian left back, keeping a close eye. Ball intended for Icardi, but deflected away. Majecki slamming it long. Diallo sends it the other way. Almost kissing it through was Angel Di Maria, but blocked on the back line by Disasi. Glad you've joined us here on beIN Sports for all of the action in this Coupe de France final. Might actually go a little long. Extra kicks needed for PSG to get here. Meanwhile, Monaco taking on a team from the 4th tier of French football, practically the amateur ranks. Actually went down a goal 20 minutes in, but bounced back by the half, and in a strong second half for an eventual 5-1 victory. Diallo back to Kerr, who in recent weeks has slotted in for Reynel Kimpembe on that back line, and he'll stay there here today. Youngster Pembele is on the pitch if needed, on the bench. Make that. Navas slotting it wide for Alessandro Florenzi. .58 degrees. Winter not quite letting go of its grip yet in the French capital. Hardly cloudy skies above, but beautiful turf down below at the Stade de France. They knocking it back. Kerr forward for Mbappe, almost upended by Fofana. And Tchouaméni, the man with the final touch. Out wide for Florenzi, measures, delivers, nodded away by Maripan. Interesting decisions here from Mauricio Pochettino, going with pretty much 3 holding midfielders, Paredes, Gay, and Pereira. Interesting to see if a little gap opens up between them and the front 3. Launch long, chance on the break. Out comes Navas, and he's going to get there first. Out wide, but cut back nicely, and then cleared away by the big pole.
Come on, guys, say. Come on, hook. Let's go. 3,
Five minutes in. Of course, the big loss for PSG here today. Neymar, who got a yellow card in the semifinal win against Montpellier. That was his 3rd booking in 10 days, which means an automatic suspension. PSG had tried to appeal, but that was ignored. So they'll have to try and win the trophy without him. Diallo and Golovin throwing in a hip. Monaco have beaten PSG home and away this season in league. And they're looking to sweep here on neutral ground if they can claim their 6th title. Slips away from Ganagay, and he loses it. Monaco pushing forward, but now dropping it back to try and retain. Good chance here, trying to lift it past Diallo, but Aguilar beaten to the ball, and Navas there to grab things. Jovetic, Martins, and of course Cesc Fabregas available on the bench for the former Bayern boss. Meanwhile, for Pochettino, Draxler, Sarabia, and Moisken, the big attackers, but keep an eye on Rafinha as well, who stepped in quite well. In fact, in the last game, a bit of a tactical change that allowed PSG to avoid defeat. PSG with a bit of a harder match than expected against Reims, helped out by a penalty and an ejection early. It really wasn't until Rafinha came in, though, that things started to click. Ball into the area for Di Maria. High into the air. Majewski coming out and grabs hold of it. Monaco, meanwhile, taking on Stade Rennais. Wissam Ben Yedder with his 20th goal in that one, and Golovin would follow. Made a little more difficult by a second-half own goal, but holding on to mathematically stay alive in the race for a double. Problem for them is they need to turn around 6 goals in differential, but the Lille stumble keeps them mathematically alive, and PSG a point behind. So there is the Ligue 1 Championnat to be decided on the weekend right here on BN Sports, but the cup final here today. Di Maria slashing away but misses possession, trying to make the turn. Nice work by Pereira to poke it free. Keylor Navas over to the versatile Kerr, and the German back into the middle. Again, a 75,000-seat temple of football practically empty. Ball nodded away by Disasi. Mbappe will shepherd it across. Hopefully getting closer. Other nations starting to allow fans. Some of them open doors practically, but in France still keeping things tight to the vest. Ball launches through. Sidibe slotting in. Heads it away. Golovin and company pushing forward. Ben Yedder really hasn't had many touches yet. Shows on that inside channel. Lifted, but off target. Was it deflected? Navas tried to keep it in play. And it looks like it's off Golovin, the defense, and out for the corner. Russian integral in recent games. Navas about a yard off his line, cheating near post. They'll send it long, looking for Disasi, but he was climbing over the back, so the foul whistled against the big center back, and it'll be a free kick for PSG. Good positioning by Danilo Pereira, and I think in some ways that's one reason he has slotted into that holding midfield role. Just a big player to try and knock out of position. Ball back for Marquinhos. Been a while since Monaco has dominated PSG. Probably have to go back to 2016 or so. A 3-2 home win followed by a 2-0 victory at the Parc des Princes. You'd almost have to say they could be the favorites here today, at least on level footing, especially without Neymar to help out. And who knows what's going to happen with Mauro Icardi in the offseason based upon some reports, but he'll get a chance here to prove he should stick around. Diallo, Mbappe. Looked like he was looking for Gay, but off target. Golovin could not hold on, and Kerr directing traffic. Pereira surrounded. Finds a way to sneak it through. Into the 18-yard, a little lean by Di Maria. Throws the defender off balance. And Caio surrenders the corner. Some big bodies for Monaco to try and defend here. Di Maria pretty good at hitting the bullseye. 13th minute, no score. Near post, trying to flick it on Marquinhos. Danilo at the shot. The turn slams off of someone. PSG screaming it was a hand, and if it was definitely above the shoulder. PSG has been assisted by, shall we say, some lenient penalty calls in recent weeks. And you know VAR is going to be taking a look, but at the moment, play on. Pereira. Actually Kerr cutting across Marquinhos to play on that right side. Hit from behind. Down goes Mbappe. A thumbs up to the referee. Take another look here. Does it come off a hand? Nope. Looks like right off the noggin of Tchouaméni. "34-year-old Costa Rican." So the guy gets it back, hanging around the center line. Near side Diallo. Trying to draw Monaco forward. Not exactly a checking team, if you will. Token pressure from Ben Yedder. Well played, Marquinhos. Now 27, celebrating his birthday last Friday. Now you see Monaco putting some pressure on. And a blind pass by Florenzi up the line, intercepted. So it works. You can hear the scream for Caio. Appeals for an offside flag. Late to come up, but eventually does. Across midfield, dispossessed again. Kovac drawing up a pretty good game plan to frustrate PSG today. And without Neymar, this is a much more orthodox team. Threaded through for Folland, but carries too far. The defense turns it back. Not saying weak, not saying impotent, but this is a team that is much more standard and traditional without Neymar, who has the ability to do the unpredictable. Marquinhos coming across to block Sidibe's cross. Ripped into the near post, deflected inside, trying to get the turn and the shot, Tchouaméni, but he can't. Now Kylian Mbappe with some fancy footwork to find the open space, but it's two against a gang. Switch to the far side. Icardi drops it back for Di Maria, and then wisely pulls it out. Good work by Monaco to get back quickly, but danger there on the break from Kylian Mbappe. 26 goals in league play for the French phenom. Still looking for his first here in a final, but 6 goals so far in the Coupe de France. Pereira trying to get a little movement from the front line. Danilo. Mbappe in front of him, turns the other way, and back to Kerr it goes. 24-year-old German under pressure, trying to clear Marquinhos, but it rattles away. Navas surges off the line and gets there first. Folland out with him. Take another look here as the ball comes through, and Marquinhos trying to get a little tricky with it. Nothing intentional here from the Costa Rican, but in the afters as he slides through, catches the man. 18th minute, still no score. Monaco frustrating PSG at the moment. Phil Shane joined by Ray Hudson here in this Coupe de France final. And Ray, well, PSG 13 times champions, would at least on paper be a favorite. Monaco's probably been the hottest team in France since January.
Absolutely, they've been radiant under their new coach. Certainly, astonishing work. Settled. They are looking a lot more vibrant and a lot more balanced as well, as today is showing. They'll be set up in this sort of formation to sting PSG on the counter-attack. That's how they live, that's how they die. But they've got some wonderful players as well. But a very tense game in the opening.
Stolen away.
70 minutes.
Ray.
Look out!
Mbappe in for Icardi. And Axel Disasi, Axel Disaster, slams the ground in frustration as he gives up the gift.
Of all players, the new signing is a talented footballer, French under-20 international, and this one is all laid down to him. He's just pickpocketed. He dwells and he loses. That touch is everything. The first touch in football, Phil, I keep telling you, is everything, even in the fundamental decisions like this. This is rudimentary football, and of all players, Big Axel lets it slip off his foot, and then wonderful quickness of Kylian Mbappe to set up the go-ahead goal. An absolute disaster for Monaco and Niko Kovac. The best laid plans all down to one little poor touch by his central defender.
Frustration, but how do they respond? And again, even without Neymar, you can't put it that close to goal. Mbappe unselfishly finding Icardi, and again, a goal inside the box for the Argio Italian. And there, a good look at Didier Deschamps, who this week hit the headlines as it looks like Kylian Mbappe might have a new front line mate in the Euros. We can talk about that in a moment, but right now, Monaco pushing forward, looking for an equalizer.
What a response this is going to take now for the underdogs. And they come in here as lively underdogs for sure. As you said earlier, Phil, this is a team that beat PSG twice this season, so their heads won't be down. And to get a sucker blow like that, a terrible mistake, it takes a lot of the spirit out of the team. We'll see how they respond.
Paredes, Di Maria drops back.
For Deschamps looking down, he is one of the future players for his national team in Axel Disasi. Remember, this is a player that Rome were able to get 13 million out of this club, Monaco, with still nearly a year and a half left on his contract. So it was a big acquisition by Monaco. But the best laid plans again. He cannot take anything, for example, anything casual, Phil. All the youngsters looking in. It's a perfect example. There's no easy passes, and got to be focused like a hungry hawk looking for your dinner. And poor Axel just got caught with his pantaloons down.
Off to this near side, Ruben Aguilar. Of course, you talk about national team defending. There is a bit of space now that Aymeric Laporte has handed in the passport, if you will, for Spain. But remember, Jules Koundé, the Sevilla start, yet to be capped, so can't count on those. Headed away into the middle.
They've got a wealth of talent in that central defensive positions. The Wizard Old Warriors and the new up-and-coming players.
Nice by Gay.
There's plenty of talent, no question about that, and he is one of them that's been looking towards building up, and just an awful disaster.
Mbappe brought down in the middle.
It's been said, one of the things about Big Axel Disasi, and there's a good look, he's still smiling anyway, and they've both been there in their great careers. One bad touch and let you down, but his positioning is what has been questioned in the past, Phil. Not his touch, not his passing, and certainly not his man marking. And it's gone now, but at least Niko Kovac can see his team knitting the game together nicely, and good movement, decent attacking rhythm building up towards Navas's goal, but nothing to show for it yet.
Ball nodded back for Fofana.
Go, come on, yes. Up.
Wide for Sidibe. Aguilar. PSG catching its breath a bit. Goal under its belt, knowing the pressure now on Monaco.
And don't discount the manner in which Kylian Mbappe set it the goal. We all know this fundamental. It looked as if it was easy peasy. But the decision to be made, he could have taken it on himself and taken on Radoslav Majecki in the goal. But he passed into the beautifully.
Ben Yedder kisses it wide. Aguilar just a little too high as Forland deflects it away.
A nice ball. Nice to attack, just a little al dente for the German international.
Out wide, Monaco putting some pressure on. Aguilar putting his body in front and forces it free. Ben Yedder trying to split the defense, but the ball stays stuck. Nice touch, Icardi. Di Maria caresses for Mbappe, and you can see Sidibe having second thoughts and now waits for help. 3 defenders and he can't find a way through.
You see Sidibe there and Disasi there, just nicely covering for each other. They'll have the double insurance policy every time Kylian Mbappe gets the ball. And usually he will have Icardi as that outlet pass when he gets it so far wide. And usually he's got the decision to make to hit that space and hit his incredible afterburners or use Icardi, but it was good cover.
Sails over Ben Yedder. Diallo again isolated. Clears it up the line, and Sidibe, he'll get a second crack at it. In for Fofana. Nice pass by the 22-year-old. Golovin can't hold on. Another chance for Fofana. One reason Kovac is smiling, Ray, there are some wizened veterans like a Ben Yedder and a Fabregas on this team, but Tchouaméni and Fofana 21 and 22, and they've played the most minutes of anyone on this team.
Yeah, wonderful players. They're holding, they're the hammers, as I like to call them, more than often the terminology for 2 players that hold that defensive line in front of the back 4 in Tchouaméni and Fofana, as you say, Phil, full of young blood and absolutely good on the ball. The big Golovin, who was a big part of this team, he'll come into that midfield. He'll not stay out wide as much. He'll be the one for Niko Kovac to come inside and start pulling the strings a little bit more. And knowing that security of Tchouaméni and Fofana is going to be there for the full 90 minutes.
Garagay takes turns, tried to accelerate, but poked off the ball. Nice by Danilo to win it back, though. Big Portuguese wall. As Aguilar found out. Caio. In for Tchouaméni. Chance to push forward. Diallo a little slow to step up. Fofana. No air underneath it as he pretty much passes it back to PSG.
Well, for a season by PSG standards, it's got to be looked at as a disappointment. This is the trophy now within their sides, Phil, to take something out of this season for Pochettino. And have started out really capitalising on more of the mistake rather than their total authority, and Monaco are really starting to come back into this game with a better tempo and rhythm now.
Need to make up that goal, though. And again, Ray, it's interesting in the pregame with President Macron down on the field made the joke about Laurent Blanc. And you think back not that long ago where he was cut loose, ball into the area. Ben Yedder tries to settle. Marquinhos sweeps it away. And
big lovely ball in this, Phil. Played into with some Ben Yedder, and it's a lovely chest pass off, and he's looking for Golovin to come in and strike this one home. Here's the service in, there's the chest pass down, and just doesn't quite reach its target, but well intended. Is it a handball? It's in that grey area, but we see on the run in it's Volland who, it's no penalty.
Again, even Ruben Aguilar flying across the follow through from Marquinhos.
Yep.
We have seen a few fouls called on that trailing leg, but that would have been a gift. Getting back with Laurent Blanc, who was let go as the PSG boss after winning a treble. Thomas Tuchel only won the one title last year, falling short in the final, but he was retained. And now you look at Pochettino, where there's a chance PSG might not have anything to open the trophy case for this year.
That's right.
And you wonder, will they risk making another change, or will they give the Argentine a chance to build?
I certainly think they will. Well, I don't think they'll pull the latch on Pochettino so quickly. It was the Manchester City disaster and the performance, and Kylian Mbappe took a lot of heat for that, and rightfully so. He didn't step up to the big game, but he stepped up here today. And it's no question, it's not a reclamation project that Kylian Mbappe, the world is his oyster. But again, the manner in which he pickpocketed the defender, Disasi, and then set up his teammate was really very, very good and played the right card out of his hand each time.
Caio to Fofana, back to Disasi and across, lifted into the area. Problem is, no one was going. Aguilar late on his horse. Of course, one thing that could help Pochettino is the fact that a bit of a change on the inside with Neymar signing that extension. Here's the giveaway.
Yeah, you see, he doesn't get the ball. He doesn't get his foot around the ball, onto the ball. It's his toe that touches on Axel Disasi. He's looking up, away. He's looking at the pressure coming on from Mbappe, and it looked as the ball was rolled out by Majek, he had plenty of time, just like this situation. That's how to control it and not take any sort of risks. But again, just a concentration lapse, and a very, very expensive one from Big Axel.
Winning it back in the midfield. Little tuck wide. Ball flicked on by Golovin, but calmly played back to his keeper. Again, mentioning with talk of a big money move, perhaps back to Barcelona, but Neymar has said he's going to stick around a bit. What's going to happen with Mbappe? And again, once we do get back to transfer season, the rumors of Sergio Ramos and even Lionel Messi perhaps stepping in. It's going to be a very interesting offseason. And you kind of sense some of those dominoes would not fall if the managerial position was up in the air.
You don't know. It's a real roulette game now. But one of the dominoes that you're talking about, Harry Kane, that's a big, big domino. The first one to fall. Look out.
Di Maria sends it far side, and Florenzi sends it goalward. Slapped up and over by Majecki.
Beautiful setup again from Mamma Mia Di Maria. It sees Kylian Mbappe, Icardi, excuse me, says, I see you, I don't need you. And it's directly at Majecki, who's got no problem here touching this one. Fundamental goalkeeping, really, just reaching up, one little angle on it, but he spanks it just directly at the goal, which you would expect for a defender. Florenzi, good pickup again. The Roma loanee, he's had some good loan moves, man.
10 minutes and change left to go in this opening stanza. Di Maria sends it long. Caio actually shied away from it, but they get the fortunate bounce. Trying to turn Ben Yedder. Florenzi pokes it free. Back to Mbappe on that far flank. Has a wall of Monaco defenders in front of him. Decides to knock them down brick by brick.
Well, look square in the eyes of the defender here. Look at this. And then it's see you later, alligator. Beautiful feet. And his legs just moving like a combine harvester, Phil. It's just encapsulates the essence of Mbappe, even when he's tightly marked in that situation. People always think he's always about attacking the space, hitting on the counter-attack with that incredible alacrity that he has. But he's such a special player in those situations, modeled himself on Cristiano Ronaldo, of course, and you can see why. And you can see how. The results are there.
Fallen trying to force it free, Ben Yedder, but quickly taken off his boot. Di Maria blasted forward to the front line, and Mbappe, a little heel flick to space.
Oh, gets out of it beautifully. This is fabulous football from PSG.
Splits the midfield. Diallo drags to the inside, but Sidibe not biting.
Big Jibril here, he stands up and looks him in the eye and says, "Let me show you my tango." Beautiful step in from the ex-Lille man.
Top of the box, Di Maria. And a push on the inside. 10 of the last 11 teams who scored first in a Copa de France final ended up lifting the trophy at the end. And it was only PSG two seasons ago against Stade Rennais that missed out on winning the cup. What a job by Kovac this year.
Yeah,
of course, really. Go back to the Bayern disaster and taking a look at what Hansi Flick has done in the last year plus. Kovac probably wishes he could have done more, but stepping into a difficult situation in Monaco. And boy, has he turned them back around.
The vagaries of coaching and managing, Phil, and every bus stop that you hit, it's always different on who's on the bus, who's going to get on the bus, the whole structure of the club. He had the problems with Croatia, with his national team as well, remember. He wasn't able to convert that into talented squad into any real success at the World Cup. Good opportunity here.
Lifted in towards the 6, deflected down, and Navas standing strong with the bodies flying in.
Well, who does this one come off? It's a beautiful ball in. Is it Danilo? Yep, just gets in there. Just a little touch back to the goalkeeper, it seemed, Diallo.
Hard hit in the midfield.
Question is, did he mean it? Either way, one of the heroes in this cup run is that man, Costa Rican. Absolutely stellar. And of course was victimized in the Champions League with some bad luck in my eyes. But that one's for the history book. Did De Bruyne mean it?
Soft touch Danilo. Mbappe breaks out of jail. Another little back heel that Golovin can't control.
Just got to work on his confidence a little bit.
You think?
More. Mbappe, yeah.
Let that creativity out. Florenzi drops it in for Icardi. Again, rumors swirling that Icardi could be on his way out. Sloppy touch Danilo. His second touch puts it away for the throw. Icardi got off to a really good start at PSG, but has basically played third fiddle after the emergence of Moise Kean this year.
certainly the Italians come up with some big goals as well.
Taken back by Monaco. Folland. Vignetta in the front of the line. Folland sends it across the 6. And nowhere near goal.
This is what's called an insurance dive by the great Kayla. He's just in case. He knows where the uprights are. Just takes a deflection as well. So, good response by Kayla.
An outswinger. Goal event. But he can't get his knee over the ball.
These are the ones in practice. He's at least testing the goalkeeper. Come showtime. Those bright lights do funny things.
Again, Mbappe. But this time, the ref and the assistant don't see a foul. Sidibe going through. Brought down Golovan, and that one will draw a whistle. And that one, it looks to be more the landing, and Sidibe does get the ball, but Mbappe lands awkwardly, and upstairs, Didier Deschamps has to be a little concerned.
I don't think he comes through the player either. Nope. Sidibe, the French international coming on to his countryman there, and I think you're right, Phil. I think it's just that landing and that little twist, that jarring. He's such a great physical specimen. Here's a great look at it here. And, yeah, there's no contact through the player that I see.
Maybe a little poke of the toe in the Achilles, but
I don't see it.
Looks like he'll be okay. Bit of a concern for Pochettino also. They still have another big game as they dream of another Lille stumble in the finale. Of course, Verratti gone for the season. Corsoa also hurt. Bernat's missed almost the entire campaign. Draxler and his hamstring, good enough to put him on the bench, but not 100%. Edge of the 18. Again, don't forget all of the action coming your way Sunday in that Ligue 1 finale. Stepping out Golovan, but he hesitates. Di Maria read it first. Nice touch by Mbappe, if there was any doubt. Icardi, Danilo, but he couldn't get all of it. His second effort does. Monaco trying to pin PSG back, but not many can pin a Bugatti down. Di Maria to the corner. Sends it back, hoping to win a corner kick.
Tremendous from Di Maria, Phil. There's 3 players on top of him, and he still was able to wriggle out of that corral and find Mbappe and keeps us alive.
Ball into the area, sent across, and now the flag comes up.
Player who's playing wonderfully well, Angel Di Maria. And 33-year-old, I don't know if I've ever seen him play as sharp as he has this season, and in the big games as well. He's one of the few that can be completely relied on to come through with some stellar football, visionary football.
Vignetta. Back for Fofana. Caio Henrique. Golovan. Stepping into it, but the shot with a wicked bounce. Navas couldn't keep it in, so another corner from Monaco.
Clear wide from Fofana, finding his target, and nice layoff. Covered by Di Maria again. He does his donkey work in covering. He's no let down from the Argentine when they're going the other way.
From the corner, sending it long. Diallo. awkward, still inside the 18, but no one's going to get that but Navas. 3 corners apiece, 3 to 4 in shots. But the only 2 chances on target coming from PSG, and one of them went in with a bow wrapped around it after the turnover inside his 18 by Desassi. Marquinhos. Again, Icardi playing a solid number 9 role today. Ganagay. Senegalese international swings it across to Florenzi. Paredes. We were talking about this earlier. When you look at the lineup, Paredes, Gay, and Pereira, more known to be the hard men in the midfield. What is Pochettino looking for when he puts all 3 of them out there?
Well, solidity after you're facing up a team that's beat you twice already this season, Phil. So it's a bit of suspenders and leather belt around Pochettino's pants, and knowing that over the time of a 90-minute final, a one-off game, that he's got that bench to bring in the likes of Draxler, Moise Kean, Herrera, inventive players as well. But so far so good. He's perhaps gambled a bit on the defensive side of the ball, but it's paid dividends, and it hasn't been the most razzle-dazzle performance by PSG, but they look nicely in control, and yet you just get that suspicion this game is on that nice ledge, high ledge of a cup final, where Monaco has certainly been able to show their fangs in and around Keylor Navas's area, and being called for some good defending, but certainly Danilo Pereira and Idrissa Gueye is playing very, very well in that centre.
Ball threaded forward. Mbappe, just too many men to beat. Caio putting a roadblock in front. As only 20 seconds of added time remain. Icardi's 5th goal of the Coupe de France. And the difference in this one, PSG some pressure here, maybe hoping for another miracle before the halftime whistle. Tessier checking his watch, and that's going to do it. Monaco trails by a goal against champions PSG in the 2021 Coupe de France final.
So there's so much to like about him, and then comes his talent, which is just off of the charts. An absolute world-class player of the highest order. Is it looks like Niko Kovac is about to ring the changes early here.
Crépin Diatta checking in. Not sure if it would be for Aguilar or a Folland, but we'll find out shortly. And it does look like it was Ruben Aguilar who checks out. Second half with the ball rolling at the Stade de France. One change for Monaco, as I'm not even sure we hit 3 seconds before that foul called, but Crépin Diatta, the Senegalese 22-year-old winger, coming in for the veteran French winger Ruben Aguilar. So some fresh speed at the wheel now for Monaco as they look to try and get back in this. Phil Shane and Ray Hudson with you here on beIN Sports. For Monaco, the frustrating point was it could easily have been a scoreless draw, because PSG didn't have that many clear chances, but for the gift that it resulted in the Icardi goal.
Yep, it's been 1 or 2 runs by Angel Di Maria. Icardi's been sniffing around at the edges of the game. You still think, does it still feel as if this Monaco side, as much as they are in this game, are going to be requiring a little piece of that magic that is certainly sprinkled throughout the PSG side?
Maria. Paredes in for Icardi, who might have got stepped on. Bolovan passes it through and almost finding the substitute Diatta. Good work by Diallo to keep him at bay. Icardi still limping a bit. Big Chilean Maripan might have landed on his toes. Again, Icardi back to goal. Sweet touch, Golovan, but the follow-up gobbled up by Florenzi.
Seen it's a bit of a subdued performance by PSG. Phil, look out.
Poked away from Ben Yedder.
I was just going to say though that this season that Monaco have enjoyed under Niko Kovac has been absolutely stellar. It has been a dream season. This team has had the money in the past, but they've really lost a lot of the direction of late in many ways. And this man has galvanized his team and brought them together, incorporating new players beautifully and losing some key players as well. So it's been a spectacular, successful season for Monaco, and they're still rattling at the latch of this French Cup final. One game to go as it comes down to the wire in Ligue 1, and they are right there. Fortunately, it looks like in the final game of the season that winning it for Monaco will not be enough to make them champions.
Need to be a big win, and it's coupled with a PSG and Lille loss.
A real big win.
Again, 6-goal differential between themselves and Lille. And the funny thing is with Lille is they have stumbled at home this year more than often, but they have been the best team away from home, and they'll be at Angers in the season finale right here on Sunday on BN Sports. Nice touch for Florenzi and for Icardi. Out wide, Abdou Diallo. Actually made his professional start at Monaco before moving to Germany. A number of players have played for both of these teams, including Georges Weah. Nice by Golovan. So elusive, the Russian.
Yeah, good player. Lovely distance over his passes as well. Pinpoint accurate. There was a situation there earlier where he picked it up on the inside of his own half here, right underneath our cameras, and tried to strike a ball to the outside right, very close. Look out.
Caio dishing it. Ben Yedder, but building a wall. Keylor Navas to deny.
Beautiful, intricate football here, and penetrative as well. It lands at the feet of the star man, Wissam Ben Yedder. Beautiful cut in here, outside of the post. He's onside by the looks of that angle, but Keylor off of his line like a jungle cat. Wonderful, lovely slipped in ball here. Again from Chao Enrique. But yes, Wissam Ben Yedder just nowhere. Oh, it was offside. It didn't look as if there was much in that. Very, very close. But more importantly for Niko Kovac, his team opening up PSG with some good, quick, slick passing and great running off the ball. But Keylor again then, and the offside flag.
Mbappe. Across the midfield stripe, caresses it to Florenzi. Icardi exits the center channel. Marquinhos. You can hear the cleats cutting through the turf here at the Stade de France. Weather almost perfect. The play has been ferocious so far. Looking for a second goal, left inside the 18. Sideve's cross or clearance blasted off Di Maria and out for the throw. Talked about how Monaco in some ways a bit fortunate to be here, going down early against Reviví in the semi-final. There have been a few big clubs who have been ousted by lower level teams, amateur teams in fact. Ganagay in for Icardi. The deflection comes off his hand.
Well, it wouldn't be a cup, would it, without those sorts of upsets.
And again,
Cinderella stories are
one-legged cup kind of leads to Cinderella getting there before the pumpkin. Reviví knocking out Ligue 2 Toulouse in the quarterfinals. Meanwhile, Olympique Marseille and Lorient also ousted earlier in this tournament by amateur clubs.
Well, even though they beat GFA 74, Phil, this Monaco side tipped their hats to that club from way down in the divisions. They had a spectacular run that galvanized the whole community, and a wonderful, wonderful trip down the cup lane for GFA.
As you point out, that is part of that cup magic and mystique. Cleared away Florenzi.
Unfortunately, with the amount of games in all of the leagues in all of the countries, the glow of that isn't quite what it used to be. Good ball.
Just caught underneath on a bounce. It'll be a PSG throw. Caio Henrique, the Brazilian 23-year-old, had spent some time on the Atletico Madrid books after following Neymar from Santos to Spain. Now in his first full season at Monaco. Big shoulder to turn for Disasi. Back for Majewski. Well, has been the cup keeper, the 21-year-old, maybe a bit of a surprise this season for Monaco. Does wear the number 1, but he's playing behind two very good goalkeepers. Benjamin Lecomte has been the number 1, and former Arsenal, former Minnesota goalkeeper Vito Manone also with about a dozen games played, but they're sticking with the 21-year-old here in the final. Nice touch, Florenzi. He's not going to get there. Caio. But he gives it away. Florenzi. Oh, Icardi. And this time, Disasi there to clear. Actually, Chouameni.
Icardi does well. Gets slipped in here. And the pullback is intended for the late arriving blue shirts, but I think he was expecting Kylian to be the big target there. Good play from Pochettino's men.
10 minutes into the second half. Off the left boot of Di Maria, but right into the arms of the 21-year-old Pole. Sassi wide. Sidibe. Nice turn, Golovin, but a good reach in by Diallo.
Yeah, he's just not able to wriggle free on the direct approach on on the deck, this Monaco side. PSG defense, Paredes, Pereira, Idrissa Gueye, just doing their job just well enough. It's been their combination passing, the quickness of Monaco's football, and that has opened up PSG. Very difficult to track those sorts of players under those circumstances, but it's been few and far between. Better. Nicely.
The turn, the substitute Diata. Lifted across the 18, but too far for Caio Henrique.
Twinkle toes from Diata, the Senegalese man. Puts his ceramic brakes on and a considerate pass back. It's not such a bad ball, just a little too heavy. Better from Monaco in this second half, Phil. Right out of the locker room with a little bit more purpose. That may be playing into the hands of Pochettino, but running after this game now, Pochettino does have a variety of star players to pick off of his bench once these white shirts start hitting the molasses, usually around 75 minutes, where the stamina tells look out.
Flying back again to help clear Fofana. Maybe not quite the same pedigree, Ray, but Jovetic, Martins, and of course Cesc Fabregas available for Kovac.
Yeah, well said. They're not that far up either by accident. This is a very good, solid team, and the change is going to be sent in here now by Nico. A little bit more spark needed, but he does sense that this PSG team now a lot more threat since he had his half-time talk.
Approaching 15 minutes in the second half, and there hasn't been a shot yet. The battle's been in the midfield. Long ball, Diallo heads it away, but off target. It'll be a throw-in for Monaco, and they'll take the chance to make the switch. 19th minute goal from Icardi, the only tally. Mentioned Jovetic and Gelson Martins, and here they come. Montenegrin and Portuguese internationals.
Oh.
Bit of a surprise that it's Ben Yedder who exits, but hasn't seen many touches.
Hasn't had much to feed on though, Phil. He's that type of player. He services everything into him. But Jovetic, there's a question about him starting. A little bit of an injury concern, but he looks as if he's ready to go now. And Gelson Martins brings a lot to the dance. The Portuguese international. A class coming in now.
Okay, vamos, up, let's go.
Jovetic, the 31-year-old Montenegrin international, made his name at Fiorentina to the point where one of the first picked up at City. Didn't quite work out there, and now in his 4th season with Monaco. Martins, meanwhile, 26 years of age, through Sporting. Another player who had a cup of coffee at Atletico, but now in his 2nd season with the Monegasque. Icardi's not going to get there, and Maripan plays it back to his netminder. Taking out Fofana and Ben Yedder. A little more width and a lot more speed. Caio whips it inside, a deflection near post. Marquinhos.
Nicely.
To get to the goal line, but reaching back Paredes to poke it free from Kevin Folland.
German international does well to get on the end again. There's that expensive attack that I was talking about. It's direct into the box, and this one gets cleared, but not far enough. The captain, beautiful skedaddle, and then well contained in the end by PSG. Good ball.
Back for Golovin. Tried to sneak that one through. Pair blocks regained by Monaco. To the spot, Danilo, but not clear. Quick feet to get inside Diatta, but he forgot the ball.
Unfortunate for Niko Kovac there. I think Golovin on that set play, Phil, was looking to clip that one in from the corner. He just didn't get enough height. You saw the amount of white shirts lining up like hungry vultures at the back post. Best laid plans again, just going astray from Alexander Golovin.
All the way past Jovetic. Having a chat with Diatta, who switches flanks to the left now. Long throw by the Costa Rican.
Long, brilliant throw from the Costa Rican. You know, if that was a pass, you'd be gushing about the wonder of it. And you were an ex-goalkeeper.
Anyone who saw me play would disagree.
Brilliant distribution, look out.
Mbappe. Di Maria.
Behind Angel.
Mbappe sneaks it inside for Ganagay. Di Maria. And then up and over from a distance, Paredes.
Well, we do play rugby here.
Majecki.
You mentioned that Phil's looked very solid, hasn't he? The Polish under-20 international. Very assured. Good timing off of the lane and with some good saves.
It's been part of last year back home with Legia Warsaw where he came, but maybe the goalkeeper of the future. A takedown at the stripe. Paredes saying, what did I do?
Live time, it looked like it was a foul in my eyes. Take a look. Oh, he's left his feet, Phil. That's the... It doesn't matter what happens. He's jumping into the tackle, even though he's sliding through and his contact made, but certainly there'll be no problem. I say to be, but that jumping into the tackle now was outlawed.
Kovac running out of answers as he continues to look for the right one, but still in the running.
Looks like a central midfielder in his playing days. Nico. Same as Pochettino, real centre back. You just tell by the faces. Kayla, you look at that face as a goalkeeper all day.
Nice by Maripan. Second effort by the big Chilean, but Di Maria blocks him off. South American qualifiers coming up. Those two could be doing battle again real soon. Euros coming up. Talked about how Kylian Mbappe might have a new front line mate, as though France needed to get any stronger.
Yep.
Didier Deschamps opening conversations with Karim Benzema.
Yep, they're the favourites, Phil, even without the great Karim. And he's been brought into the flock. The black sheep that he was has been brought back in, and putting down Forest to print the papers in France to write about that is very controversial. But he should deservedly take his place, because I don't know if there's a better French striker playing right now.
From a sporting perspective, maybe in his generation.
Yeah, well said.
Launched long, but Di Maria back to play some defense.
Said it earlier, he's always willing, able, capable of tracking back and then getting up to the other side, full of Argentina razzle-dazzle at the threatening end of the pitch. This is better from Monaco. Substitutes coming in and settling into the rhythm of the game nicely. And I think Pochettino will be sensing a little bit of nerves, looking for that second goal as the insurance There's better movement altogether around from Monaco. Better passing overall, not there.
First half, PSG with 65% possession.
Yeah.
Which is a little deceptive because it seemed like Monaco always seemed to be on the ball. But in the second half, it's back up to 50-50. Colin Dagba will check in for Florenzi. Let's see. And it will be straight swap right back. The other point to clarify for those maybe a bit unfamiliar, if Monaco can level the score and it stays that way at 90, there would be 30 minutes of extra time. And there would be the penalty shootout to follow. Of course, PSG needed extra kicks in the shootout in the semifinals to get here. The other little wrinkle is the fact that not only are there 5 substitutions, but if the match does go to extra time, there would be a 6th. So if they do find a way to tie the score, you don't need to hold on to a sub in reserve.
Now, it's even worse news for him if it does go to extra time, Phil, with that big game against Brest at the weekend, which is a must-win game for the Parisians. Good touch.
Trying to drop it back.
Nicely.
Martins keeps it alive. A little touch by Diatta. Close to a hand.
Yeah. Sometimes the players nowadays gamble on playing that ball into the player's body. That's what we're seeing it now. Look out.
Little heel click from Forland, it looked like.
But Diatta could have brought that ball under control, but the ball, he volleyed directly into the PSG defender, and maybe, just maybe, that's part of the calculations going on in the modern footballer's mind now, especially with the defender's natural reaction to keep on balance and throw those arms out. You can't do it in the penalty box anymore.
Off the crossbar as it gets over the fingers of Keylor Navas. One of those cross-turn shots that almost found the pot of gold. And PSG putting on a passing display in the corner.
Keylor does well here to track the ball, and he extends everything he can on the trajectory and the angle of the ball. Take a look at this.
Martins.
He's got it, and then the distance beats him. There's nothing else he could have done. And you're right, Phil. Kisses the goalkeeper's big white skinny friend there. And Keylor done everything he can, but it's good effort.
By the way, talking about Stade Brestois, you might think, well, can they stand up? But if you believe some of the reports, it could be a farewell to Brest's manager, Olivier Dallaglio, as he is the leading candidate to take over at Montpellier, so he'd like to go out on a high note. And really, at this stage, there aren't any easy games, and especially for Lille, who are going to have to wear a week's worth of chokers headlines after they dropped points in the penultimate round. But they're still in control of their own destiny. That on Sunday. And again, for Monaco, mathematically alive, but they would need a miracle so they can just focus in on trying to add some silverware here.
They're live here in this game. 70 minutes played. They're getting better.
Headed back to the top of the box for Jovetic. Second effort, Diatta, but it's right to Navas.
Just as I was saying, they're getting better. They go into the direct route. It's not cleared. Beautiful control. One stab, and then the second hit from the impressive Diatta. The Senegalese man just not able to hit it cleanly enough to get the sweetness and the pop of his shot. It's a scuffed hit by Diatta, but he's got the snatch at the chance, and as always, Keylor Navas, right place at the right time.
Back to Navas.
But nerves now showing in PSG, and Keylor's got arguably the best or the worst seat in the house, looking down at this Kovac team that are sharpening their swords, and there's a big Ginsu one coming their way here now in the great Cesc Fabregas.
Goal and 2 assists in the semi-final for the former Arsenal and Barcelona man.
Cool head, shrewd footballer, brilliant footballer. one of the greats of all of the clubs that he's played. Basically Arsenal, Barcelona, Chelsea, revered at all of those clubs, the World Cup winner.
And in Monaco as well. Many thought he would come and go quickly, but he stuck around and committed, and he's still a vital part of this Monaco team. Kind of a manager on the field. Approaching the final quarter hour of regulation. Look away, finds Di Maria. Slammed away Sidibe. A little stumble by Icardi, and he can't recover in time. Maripan clears. Danilo can't. Tchouaméni with a little help. And now into space for Caio Henrique. Across the middle for Jovetic. Well played, Care. Down goes Pereira. Referee saw nothing.
Nothing there.
All the way back to Navas, who will put it into touch to allow the Portuguese midfielder to get some treatment.
Is it his head? Let's take a look as the shoulder comes up. Nothing.
Might have taken a hit to the ribs, but Folland.
Please.
Pochettino politicking. And they'll make a switch in the midfield. The other youngster. And it looks like they will make two switches here. Mariachile for Disasi on that back line. And it will be Fabregas for Kevin Folland. So the former Leverkusen man exits.
Okay, come on, Jason. Allez, come on up.
And would imagine they'll drop Tchouaméni a bit. Well, they could also go just three in the back here and risk it, but do you want to do that against Kylian Mbappe?
Yes, because he's been anonymous in this second half, and yes, they've got a tiger by the tail. They know there's teeth at the other end in Mbappe, but they've got to go for it now. I think it's a good move. Ariashile, a good young French under-21 international, got speed as well, Phil, 6'4". If Mbappe gets it and he goes at Ariashile, he'll take him to the cleaners, but what other option does Niko Kovac have now? He's certainly got the momentum in this game, and Kylian has been kept pretty much in check, but now the roll of the dice by the ex-Bayern Munich boss, and I think he's doing the right thing, and he's quite happy with that, of course, knowing that he's got that huge, wonderful attempt. I think this is an intentional strike at goal, Phil.
Gelson Martins has been known to be a bit on the flamboyant side. Jovetic as well. All 5 regulation subs have been made for Kovac. He'll sit and watch. Ranage dancing out of danger.
Well played.
Care. Dagba. Dangerous ball across Di Maria, but he saw it there. Down goes Mbappe again.
Big challenge for him today coming in, knowing the strength of PSG's attack, Phil, and the way he plays is a very difficult set of books to balance. I think it's worked out well in many, many ways for Monaco. I think they've given themselves a great chance after suffering in that first half and dealing with PSG, and then in this second half they've moved up a gear and a half.
The Santos
great ball nearly could have led him a little further, huh?
Di Maria, well, as you're always fond of pointing out, into space. Chance here if they could find Icardi, but Mbappe pulls it out of the fire.
Nicely covered again.
Still 4 subs left if he wishes. Running into Sidibe and dispossessed. Gift by Tchouaméni, and PSG will eat more of the clock. with some backspin. Radosław Majewski able to get out in time. Maripan has switched over to the right half of that back line. The youngster Badiashile sliding in on the left. Pushing Caio Henrique a bit further upfield. Fabregas. Golovin.
He won it back here, Fabregas, and he gets it.
Into space, Chouameni.
Nothing in the threat in the central area for Chester Fein there.
Sidibe. Fabregas wants it again. Makes the run in the box, curling ball around, but well played Danilo. Bodied off the ball, poked free, a tumble in the box, Fabregas, as he slides into the signage, but no sympathy from the ref.
Nothing there. You've got to get Fabregas more on the ball in that area in between the defensive back line, in that midfield area. That's where he can be the skeleton key for Monaco. Wonderful vision. There you go.
Even touch into space. Golovin leans towards his right, curls in the 18, chips it across, headed back to the top of the box, met by Chouameni, but he can't keep the shot down.
Now the youngster steps into this. It's a wonderful invite. Beautiful play by Cesc Fabregas as well to set all of this rhythm up. And plenty of power, but without control, power means nothing. It's a good attempt at Chouameni, but again, you're stepping through the ball like that. You've got to drive it down.
Ander Herrera coming in for Paredes, and Moise Kean for Mauro Icardi. Icardi did well winning the ball, but couldn't do much with it when he had it, but for the one gift that was passed on by Kylian Mbappe. Herrera a bit almost in that Fabregas role, so a different look than Paredes. And Moise Kean a lot more dynamic. Let's see what he can do. '80th minute. We're a bit surprised to see, for the most part, well, let's take a look here. A little chip over the woodwork. Almost brilliant, but almost brilliant in its miss.
Well, this one would have been hung in the Louvre had it went in. He's got a split second to measure it, but he gets his theodolite out and absolutely gets it as close to perfection as you could. Astonishing strike and unlucky. He couldn't have asked much more of himself, Phil. There's the quickness of the dispatch as much as the accuracy. You got to get the angle right, the weight right, the stab right, the arc of the strike to getting over 6'2" Polish goalkeeper. He did that in a blink of a bee's eye. Incredible from Mbappe, but denied. Applaudable in its failure.
Down the line, Di Maria. Over a century's worth of assists in his career, and he sets up Kylian Mbappe with the killer goal.
Truly a work of art by Mamma Mia Di Maria, who absolutely is the cat's pajamas here with this run for the big threat Mbappe, who comes out of the long grass this time. But look at this work from Argentina. Cleaner than Neutrogena with his touch, dripping honey on it. A brilliant run by Di Maria, and angles are down, measured better than Archimedes from Mbappe. Cool, chips it beautifully. Nowhere to go down on the right side of him. It's well covered by Majewski, but that left side, that would have been a gamble if he'd went low, so he splits the difference, and it's a beautiful chip. Poor Radoslav did everything he could, but the real praise needs to go to Mamma Mia. Absolutely radiant on that run. Again, the finish smoother than a Zamboni, Phil, but the setup was made in Argentina.
Monaco needed to take risks, but they pay the price. They could not convert when they had the chances against Navas, and now the mountain gets twice as high.
Yeah, the brilliance of that run from Di Maria, driving on to the tiring legs of Monaco with a sparse defense now, and you're not going to be able to contain him on those sorts of runs. But he cannot praise Di Maria enough for that wonderful, astonishing run, and then the ventilated pass for Mbappe.
Kylian Mbappe, his 7th Coupe de France goal of the season. I mentioned Di Maria, now 104 assists in his PSG career. Here's Caio, Monaco refusing to give up. Lifted across and grabbed by Navas.
As I say, Phil, no more pernicious way to hit an opponent when their tails are up, when their rhythm is right, when they've come back into this game and earned the right to draw the game level. Then he shows up like a ghost out of the fog. But Mbappe is identified through that fog by wonderful vision and brilliant technique from this man.
17th Coupe de France goal in his career for PSG, 19th overall. Of course, the first two were back in his time with the red and whites, scoring against his old club here. But for Niko Kovac, what might have been now never will be.
Yeah, how do you contend with that class that Di Maria showed? How do you wrestle down that type of challenge? Squirrel on a telephone wire. It was just a beautiful run, Phil. And there's a number of times when you're on a run like that, on a slant, you can pick out a pass. He had options, but he waited and waited until that exquisite moment where the window of opportunity opened up on that right side of the Monaco defense, and then slotted it through for Kylian.
And Ray, obviously things changing a bit here, but in some ways, we'll get to that in a moment, as Golovin to the inside, but misses the run of Martins. There are less games now that it's gone to straight knockout rather than the home and away. And at 22 years of age, Ray, he's now at 19 goals, just 2 behind Djibril Cissé and Jean-Pierre Papin for second, and in striking distance of Pauletta and 28 for the former PSG star. So 19 cup goals, and he's still just 22. Of course, who knows if he'll get number 20. It all depends if he moves and where he moves. Up the line for Mbappe. Back for Di Maria. Drives it by Diashile. And that was a bit of the gamble by Kovac to make a change on the back line.
Yep.
Di Maria made him pay.
Well, like we said earlier, Phil, very hard to be critical in any way, shape or form from Niko Kovac. Is rebuilding this Monaco team and doing a wonderful job, shrewd buying, the bravery to stick with this man and this young man in goal as well should be applauded.
Di Maria from the corner flag, looking in the middle. Majecki pulling it down. And there is a lot of youth here as well. Again, this is a Monaco side that struggled at the start of the season. They were 12th after 10 rounds, if I recall.
Yep.
But then things started to click, and they are looking at Champions League football next year, and still with a dream in the final round for a crown, but it won't be a cup crown. And for Pochettino, Ray, does this salve any wounds?
Sure, of course. Lifting the cup of France is a big achievement, and they've done it in a manner without their star man. All apologies towards Mbappe, but Neymar, that's a big miss.
Neymar in the stands, probably down on the pitch for the trophy presentation as well, which comes your way immediately following the final whistle. See if Monaco can throw a wrench in here. Only 3 minutes of regulation left.
Similar way to Barcelona, Phil, winning their Copa del Rey, and yet looking back on a performance in the league that has been hugely disappointing, and in Europe very disappointing as well. Wonderful from the Italian international there, but you take what you get and you go on and you learn, and who knows who's going to be arriving in Paris next year. Speaking of Barcelona,
Keylor Navas might not be the last Madridista as well to make the jump across.
That's right.
Back to the Costa Rican. Well, you talk about that Martins cross that hit the crossbar. If you actually take a closer look, if it had been a little lower to the point where it could have gone in the net, Keylor Navas's hand was in the way. So into Di Maria, approaches the center circle.
Yeah, this second goal's killed some of the spirit that was frothing up in Monaco.
Kid hurdles Maripan, drops it back. Di Maria was a little busy taking pictures. Pochettino pacing at the bottom of the screen. Of course, in his 2 earlier managerial stints, didn't have many chances to win silverware, even though he did draw the accolades. Maybe, just maybe, the start is something special. Looks like Sarabia on the sideline waiting to check in. Caio Henrique, right-footed cross, smashed towards the corner, off the head, but off target. Jovetic. Oh, Golovan make that. Right the first time. And now they will make the switch for Sarabia, and it will be Angel Di Maria who set up the clincher, who exits.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. This majestic footballer for club and for country is a true gift, and a highly underrated footballer. For Monaco, Phil certainly ran the course, and wonderful run in the cup. Just a bridge too far for them here today, despite a good second half revolution. And you know, when you look at the way Monaco played last year, it was that centre of defence that Kovac had some problems. I wouldn't say problems, but a little weak. But it was Disasi that they brought in the hope that that would really secure. And football being football, cruel.
Into the middle, Martins can't control.
It was Disasi that set the table for PSG. And it's cruel, and it may be harsh, but that's the brutality of top-level football. One slip, and you're dead.
Strong challenge by Tchouaméni. Top of the box, Jovetic. And then he pulls Disasi, sticks in the youngster, and he gets toasted by Di Maria. Back to the top, looking for an opening. You got left-footed shot from Jovetic. Rebound blasted off Marquinhos. But also, Ray, in need of a goal, he pulls out his 2 starting goal scorers. So there will be a few questions towards Kovac, even though this has been a stellar season. By the way, that assist for Di Maria, breaking the tie with club legend Safet Susic, now the all-time leading assist man in PSG history.
Hey, why that Argentina flag on that statistic? you know, Phil, the ifs and whats and the reflections and the 2020 vision towards Kovac, I think, might be a little harsh. And Ben Yedder did not, you said it yourself, on his exclusion out of the game, had not showed too much at all. And in fact, it was to do as much with the structure of the team in the second half, because they certainly showed a lot more of the fangs and have continued to do so even at this point. He's chasing the game now. It's put to bed with 2 big hot water bottles, but the fact he's got plenty to work with, Igor Kovac. Remember, they just missed out on European football last year by a point, so this is a club going in very much the right direction.
Nice turn, Herrera, but well-read Maripan. Final seconds of added time. PSG about ready to defend its cup crown and win its 14th cup trophy. Presentation coming right here on beIN Sports immediately following the final whistle. Sails over Jovetic, falls for Diatta. Can't find the trigger though. Poked off of Jovetic's boot, and PSG preserving the clean sheet. Ooh. Down goes Herrera, and the whistle blows.
Killer. That's his name, isn't it? Killer Mbappe.
The final whistle from the referee, and PSG victorious. They had to battle against Monaco, but they're the ones who are left standing. Kings of the Hill, Coupe de France champions yet again.
The right man in the right spot, capitalized to set up the first goal on a disastrous mistake by disaster.
Monaco qui disputait ce soir sa 10e finale de Coupe de France. Ils en ont remporté 5 en 1960, 1963, 1980, 85 et 1991, donc pour la dernière. Et celle de votre papa, Eric, c'était en 1960.
1960, il avait réalisé un doublé face à l'AS Saint-Etienne. L'AS Monaco avait remporté, je crois, 4-2.
Et là, d'honneur des Parisiens pour les joueurs de l'AS Monaco. Toujours des moments compliqués, hein, quand on vient de s'incliner, quand on vient chercher la médaille du perdant. Et lorsque l'on sait qu'il y aura un match capital dimanche soir en championnat face à Lens, vite se remobiliser.
Ouais, ce qui est le plus difficile, hein, c'est de tourner la page, hein, après une déception, parce que passer à côté d'un titre, c'est toujours une grande déception. Alors on a eu les sentiments d'un jeune joueur, Aurélien Tchouameni, qui du coup se dit, bon, il espère avec l'expérience qu'il en gagnera d'autres. Après on a vu les joueurs avec plus d'expérience comme Sidibé, comme Fabregas, qui eux se disent on aurait peut-être eu l'occasion d'en gagner d'autres. Alors eux ils ont gagné d'autres trophées bien sûr. Donc voilà, c'est effectivement toujours difficile de perdre en finale. Et surtout quand on a un match à jouer 3 jours après, un match d'une importance capitale. Donc ça va être important pour Niko Kovac de remobiliser ses troupes. Mais c'est une équipe qui a beaucoup de ressources, elle l'a montré tout au long de la saison et c'est un entraîneur de grande qualité. Il a lui-même également démontré.
Les arbitres qui ont été excellents ce soir, il faut le souligner.
Très bon arbitrage du trio, du quatuor même arbitral.
Jonathan qui vous salue, le candidat régional. Il est en Bretagne, il va dans le département. Il regarde son cabinet et il connaît très bien notre arbitre de ce soir. Et vous avez joué au foot ensemble. La BD. La BD. La BD est connue. Je ne manquerai pas, je vais le dire. Merci à vous.
Il y a visiblement des connaissances communes entre François Le Texier et le président de la République. Échange très sympa.
Merci à vous. Merci beaucoup. Merci.
Et le Paris Saint-Germain qui va pouvoir maintenant s'avancer pour aller soulever cette Coupe de France. Et c'est Marquinhos qui aura ce privilège de soulever la Coupe de France. Pour lui, ça sera la 5e. Déjà pour le Brésilien du Paris Saint-Germain.
Quel joueur quand même, hein. Quel palmarès maintenant.
Et donc on le disait, deuxième trophée pour le Paris Saint-Germain après le trophée des champions, la Coupe de France.
Bravo.
Pour Mauricio Pochettino.
Bravo, félicitations. Bravo. Félicitations. Bravo.
Si Marco este me voy en casa,
Le staff parisien est là également pour recevoir la médaille du vainqueur. Nasser Al-Khelaifi a rejoint ses joueurs et Kylian Mbappé. Et pour Mauricio Pochettino qui avait été finaliste de la Coupe de France en tant que joueur avec le PSG en 2003. Il avait perdu face à la JOCR notamment de Giroud. Et bien il la remporte en tant qu'entraîneur du Paris Saint-Germain ce soir. 18 ans plus tard. Neymar est là aux côtés d'André Di Maria et de Kylian Mbappé. Nouveau trophée pour le Paris Saint-Germain. 14e Coupe de France. Le PSG qui a donc raflé 6 des 7 dernières éditions de la Coupe de France. Ils ont une véritable mainmise sur cette compétition et y croit le Paris Saint-Germain depuis de longues années maintenant. Et donc Marquinhos va soulever pour la 14e fois de l'histoire du club la Coupe de France dans quelques instants. Et voilà Emmanuel Macron, le président de la République, qui va remettre la Coupe de France à Marquinhos, le capitaine du Paris Saint-Germain.
Faites la place au capitaine.
C'est fait, le Paris Saint-Germain garde son trophée. Le Paris Saint-Germain soulève pour la 14e fois de son histoire la Coupe de France. C'est un record évidemment. Le PSG roi de cette compétition. Et le PSG qui peut encore rêver du titre, pourquoi pas. Et un nouveau feu d'artifice en cas de victoire à Brest dimanche soir et en cas de faux pas du LOSC. Tout est encore possible dans cette fin de saison absolument passionnante.
Oui, t'inquiète pas. On va essayer de rester 10 minutes.
La très belle joie parisienne. Avec ce deuxième trophée de la saison, on le disait, pour Marquinhos et pour Mauricio Pochettino. Quelle est belle la joie également de Kylian Mbappé. Un but, une passe décisive ce soir. On va revoir d'ailleurs, Eric, avant de se quitter, le grand match de Kylian Mbappé, parce que c'est lui qui vient chipper le ballon dans les pieds d'Axel Disasi en première mi-temps et offrir une passe décisive. Et c'est lui ensuite qui est allé marquer le deuxième but. C'est l'un des grands artisans de la victoire du Paris Saint-Germain ce soir. La photo, elle est belle.
Sans oublier